Why, hello there. This is Warren Buffett, billionaire, philanthropist, investor, and CEO of Berkshire Hathaway. Recently, I've discovered a very fascinating book in one of my libraries called Founding Brothers by Joseph J. Ellis on the relationships between our founding fathers that have changed the way we live and run this country today. I have found and learned some very interesting lessons and qualities from these men, and I'd like to share them with you today. Let's begin. Chapter 1: The Duel. In 1804, the most famous duel in American history occurred when Alexander Hamilton and Aaron Burr faced off in a fierce political rivalry. The downfall to Alexander Hamilton was his lack of honor. He not only attacked Burr politically, but he also attacked him personally. Even though economics is economics, it was also very political. If I hadn't honored the many CEOs, vice CEOs, partnerships, and shareholders, then there was no way I was going to move forward in society. Why would I attack the same company I had invested into? I invested into companies and people that I had a high deal of respect for because I believed that they could achieve success. Even if it was rival companies, I still had a great deal of respect for them because it was reputable to do so. I honored my successes and my failures. I didn't blame others for my mistakes, and I credited companies for my successes. I would have never achieved the amount of respect I have today if I hadn't respected the people who got me here. I had honor for the companies that my multinational conglomerate holding company, Berkshire Hathaway, acquired. If not, I probably wouldn't have been successful, and neither would Berkshire Hathaway. When I met Lorimer Davidson, Geico's vice president, I hadn't noticed it then, but the impact I had made on him was huge. Davidson was really impressed by not only my intelligence, but my respect for the company as well. This later on led to Berkshire Hathaway acquiring Geico. What I've learned is that knowing and respecting various people can lead you to success, as long as they respect you in return. But failing to do so can also get you in a lot of trouble. Chapter 2: The Dinner. In this infamous Jeffersonian dinner, the discussion of the early national issues are held, while personalities and political ideas clash. What sticks out most is the compromise made at the dinner between Jefferson, Madison, and Hamilton. Madison agreed to vote for the assumption of state debts by the federal government, while Hamilton agreed to vote for the capital to be above the Potomac. Even though they didn't come out of this dinner with what they wanted, Madison and Hamilton needed to gain ground unless they wanted these issues to drag on for decades. This compromise, one of many, between North, Hamilton and Jefferson, and South, Madison, had helped prevent a civil war until later years. Compromise is inevitable. Sometimes, no matter what I do as an entrepreneur, I must make compromise in order to either salvage the situation or to move forward with companies I invest in. I never truly attain the full potential I see in every company I invest in, because our world is not a utopia. We must make a deal in order to reach what we are looking for. Today, the President Barack Obama and I have proposed a tax plan called Buffett Rule. I believe it is wrong for the wealthy 1% of our nation that makes up 99% of our money could pay less federal taxes than the middle class. The tax plan would apply a minimum rate of 30% on individuals making more than $1 million a year. The plan, however, is opposed by nearly every Republican congressman, some labeling it as class warfare. Although the future is ahead of us, the tax plan will be changed, remolded, or thrown away in an attempt to achieve my goal in increasing taxes on the rich. As stated before, compromise is inevitable because ideas are always opposed, and in order to somewhat achieve my goal, I might have to make a compromise in order to continue and gain headway. Chapter 3: The Silence. In the 1790 debate, a separation between the North and South became more clear and present. As slavery became the primary topic and a rising issue throughout the new country, it is what later tears us apart. The only way to answer to this issue between the unity of North and South would ultimately be the legality of slavery. Feared by many other politicians, a break in federal government would lead to civil war. Though it didn't create a civil war during the period, it was bound to occur within the next century. A lesson of unity, to join up or die together, in which a successful civil war did occur and America was split North and South, then the track of our future would be shifted off course forever. The lesson I learned is you can't create success only off yourself. I would have never become the billionaire who I am today if it wasn't for my unities with my partnerships and companies, such as Berkshire Hathaway, shareholders, and etc. If I would have separated myself between these companies and people and go a completely different route, Who knows what would have happened to my life? It is the fact that I choose to unite myself with these companies in order to reach the potential that I should have. The companies I invested in, and to make changes if necessary. Sometimes we need to rely on others and not just ourselves. If it wasn't for the unity between Berkshire Hathaway and I, then we both would have never accomplished the success we have earned today. Myself being a billionaire, philanthropist, Oracle of Omaha, and Berkshire Hathaway as the multinational conglomerate holding company that it is today. Chapter 4: The Farewell. One of George Washington's greatest qualities was that he was aware of his limits and the potential of his power. Washington recognized the power he had possessed and refused to wield that power by stepping down. Washington was very humble. If he had to step down from power in order for his country's survival, he would do so, and he would do without haste. He wanted what was best for America. He wasn't power-hungry or greedy. He wanted his presidency to strengthen the Union rather than weaken it. Today, some people consider me, Warren Buffett, as the most humble, rich man, and leading philanthropist. I have learned that I need to think about not only our country, but the people who also live in it. If I wanted to keep the money I have earned, I could have done so. But I didn't, because I pledged, along with Bill Gates, to give out the majority of my wealth to charity in order to move our nation forward. I have donated 99% of my fortune to charities in order to spread out the wealth because it is unnecessary to keep it and be greedy. Carnegie once said, "Huge fortunes that flow in large part from society should in large part be returned to society." I agree with Carnegie's statement because our wealth gap in our world and nation has been higher than it ever has been before, in which case means more poor people. Like Washington, I can understand my ability, my role within the country. I try to help out with the financial problems of our country and people by donating my money and giving advice. I don't go and try to be different and change the world. I try to help our country with what it is within my reach without disrupting it. Even though I'm a part of the 1% that controls 99% of our country's wealth, I want to close that social gap. Obama and I have come up with a tax plan, the Buffett rule, in which is supposed to apply a minimum tax rate of 30% on individuals making more than $1 million a year. If you're the luckiest 1% of humanity, you owe it to the rest of humanity to think about the other 99%. To try to move our world forward in any way possible without disrupting the nature and beauty of it. Chapter 5: The Collaborators. When Washington left the office in 1796, the rise of political conflict between two once great friends and collaborators occurred. The election of 1796, in which Jefferson and Adams both pitted each other in order to win the race. Jefferson and Adams, who were once allies, were now foes because of the election that wedged these two friends farther and farther apart. One quality particularly seen in Adams is his jealousy, which starts before the election has ever happened. This jealousy occurs when Adams was vice president and was feeling ignored by the public, while Jefferson, on the other hand, was beginning to be a hit. A political war between these two once great friends for the race for president, in which each would slander each other viciously. My rivalry with the billionaire Koch brothers, in which they are trying to rival Berkshire Hathaway with their company, is not vicious. Basically, the Koch brothers are trying to find established businesses looking for a long-lasting home, just like Berkshire Hathaway. Instead of slandering my opponent and humiliating the Koch brothers, I look on it as a challenge. A challenge that helps improve and benefit my company for further advancement. If I would slander my opponents, I would be looked at as insulting and weak because of my disrespectful attitude. Slandering my opponents would literally get me nowhere and would ruin all the relationships I had with my partners, shareholders, and company. Since Jefferson and Adams slandered each other, they ruined a great collaboration that could have benefited them and many others during the time until they were reunited. Not only is it important to have relationships, but to keep them intact no matter what, to look beyond rivalry and to embrace it in order to improve reputation. Chapter 6: The Friendship. The bond between Thomas Jefferson and John Quincy Adams is a great friendship that serves as a symbol for the relationships between our founding fathers. A relationship and collaboration between two highly intellectual political leaders with similar theological ideas helped lead to the success of our revolution and some of the documents created that still stand today, such as the Declaration of Independence. Having relationships is important because for me, it helps obtain leverage and expand my limitations economically and throughout my business. A good relationship with a CEO/vice CEO of another reputable company would allow me to obtain that company through Berkshire Hathaway and would also pay me a good reputation for other investments. Not only have economical and business relationships made my career, but it's also the political and personal reputations such as great, respectable, and reputable people such as Obama and Bill Gates that have helped move our country in a way like how Jefferson and Adams have. Obama and myself have been collaborating for quite a time now on how to fix the long-lasting economic issues of the United States, such as tax rates with the Buffett rule. With Bill Gates, we are both big advocates for charity and philanthropy. Our relationship has helped millions across the world. Like I've said before, Gates and I have both pledged to give a vast majority of our value to charity in order to give with a purpose. The importance of my relationships and the relationship between Jefferson and Adams is that we all set our differences aside in order to complete or strive for a common goal. Jefferson and Adams were patriotic and helped the Revolution, while Gates and myself have and still are donating money to charitable causes. These relationships have helped move our world forward. This is Warren Buffett signing off.